Hello everyone, Namaste. First of all, thank you so much for the amazing and encouraging response to the last video. My Instagram and email were flooded with requests that I should do more of these videos, and I've decided to try them out. While the last video was on arguably India's greatest advocate, Sri Nani Palkhiwala, the one today is about the finest and my personal favorite Chief Justice of the Supreme Court we've ever had. I speak of none other than the great Chief Justice M. Hidayatullah, or Huddi, as he was popularly called by his friends. In fact, yesterday marked the 115th birth anniversary of Justice Hidayatullah, and hence this video is a form of tribute to him. While there are many aspects about his legal career that can be discussed, some of which one may agree with and some of which one may question, I intend to focus on the little known aspects about his life and, most importantly, his integrity as a Chief Justice. Justice Hidayatullah holds the distinction of many firsts. For instance, he is amongst the one of the two judges whose tenure at the Supreme Court spanned over 3 decades. Second, he is, I believe, the only Chief Justice to have served as both the acting president and the vice president later. Interestingly, the very Hidayatullah who wrote some of the most crucial decisions our Supreme Court has ever delivered, and which contributed to the academic study of the law, was himself not a big fan of studies and school in his early years. In fact, he writes that he held the views of George Bernard Shaw and found schools to be worse than prisons. He said, in a prison, for instance, you are not forced to read books written by wardens and the governors. Despite his dislike, he was an excellent student who knew over 5 languages by the age of 11 and also went for his further studies to the Trinity College at the University of Cambridge. Today, I will narrate 3 interesting stories about his time on the bench. The first story is about his elevation to the court, which is an extremely interesting tale. In November 1958, he was serving as a judge of the Madhya Pradesh High Court and received a call from Delhi. He picked the phone and said hello, to which came a response, I am Das. He questioned which Das, not realizing it was the Chief Justice of India S.R. Das calling him. Politely, the chief told him, Das, the Chief Justice of India, and I want you in my court Monday. Can you make it? Justice Hidayatullah was a little skeptical with the offer, as several times before his name was proposed for elevation to the court but later dropped. Hence, he replied, Sir, I have received no order. To which the chief replied, But I am telling you, do you need more? Justice Hidayatullah sought some time to finish the cases pending before him and inform his colleagues, and only then left for the Supreme Court. For him, the Supreme Court could wait as he had pending matters to deal with. Second is a story of a man who would never compromise on his integrity. A striking feature which makes Justice Hidayatullah stand out amongst his colleagues is his leadership and, more importantly, integrity as the Chief Justice. The Supreme Court of India has a convention wherein, on retirement of a Chief Justice, the next senior most judge becomes the Chief Justice. The convention has been in place since the nation's independence and has been broken only twice, both of which days were termed as black days of Indian democracy. Hidayatullah's leadership was evident when he prevented an attempt to break this convention by the then central government. It was known that on Hidayatullah's retirement, Justice Shah, being the next senior most judge, would succeed him as the Chief Justice. However, shortly before his before his retirement, there were rumors that the government was keen to supersede Justice Shah and appoint an outsider as the chief. Justice Hidayatullah immediately called a meeting of all the Supreme Court judges, and it was agreed that all the judges, except one, would resign if the government went ahead with the plan. He even stood up to the Prime Minister Mrs. Gandhi and told her that India would soon be hosting an international convention of lawyers and judges, and if Justice Shah is superseded, the entire world would know what happened. In fact, when later Justice Ray was chosen as the Chief Justice, superseding Justice Shillart, Grover, and Hegde, Hidayatullah refused to attend the swearing-in ceremony, despite elevating Ray to the bench himself. The third story is about an interesting encounter at the bench. One often wonders about the heavy security deployed at the Supreme Court. The reason behind the security may be attributed to an incident on the bench presided over by Justice Hidayatullah. Earlier, the court had no security and anybody could walk in. However, on 13th March 1968, a bench of Justice Hidayatullah, Justice Vaidilingam, and Justice Grover were delivering a judgment when a man named Manmohan Das moved past the courtmaster and jumped on the bench to attack the judges with a knife. Seeing this, Justice Hidayatullah immediately shouted, "Have a care! He has a knife and is going to attack us." The assailant managed to attack Justice Grover with his first blow, catching him in the head, incising his scalp. Justice Hidayatullah immediately grabbed the assailant's wrist and the man was held thereafter. Justice Hidayatullah drove Justice Grover to the Willingdon Hospital along with Justice Vaidilingam. In fact, the judges participated in the trial of the assailant as well. The other judges attributed the narrow escape to Justice Hidayatullah's quick reaction to the assailant's move. At a time when questions of judges taking up post-trial positions and independence of the office of the Chief Justice are being raised, the life of Justice Hidayatullah serves as a benchmark of how a chief should be and why one should never compromise with their ethics and integrity. Remembering him today, Jai Hind.